What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. And if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Brandon, and this entire channel is pretty much just about me documenting my own self-improvement journey, showing you guys everything I've learned through my own processes, and teaching you how to do the same and how to better improve your life. So in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about something that's really affected me throughout my entire life and something that I feel like I've conquered now, so I want to share with you guys. And that one thing is lust. And I want to start with a story that'll give you guys some good perspective, because this story takes place whenever I was like 17 years old. I was a lot younger then, but it'll still apply to literally everyone because it's something every single person struggles with. So when I was around 17, right, I got out of my first real relationship. I had been dating this girl for, I want to say, 2 years, so I started dating her when I was very young. But during that time, I was out of shape. I wasn't feeling good. I was very insecure, and I was very upset that the relationship had ended. I really wanted that back in my life. I wanted that girl. So what did I do, right? I searched everywhere to replicate that feeling that I had with her. And that feeling was one of lust, was one of, sexual encounter, was one of having some type of female in my life. So I did anything that I could to replicate that feeling of dopamine I received from that. And so that entailed, constantly like going on dating apps like Tinder, trying to match with girls, texting girls on Snapchat, just like going on random dates, hooking up with random girls, going through all these talking stages, watching pornography, all of these things that I struggled with so bad. And I would do them again and again and again. And it was like every single day I was doing something. I was either watching porn, I was either, being with some girl, I was either like trying to go on a date, texting this girl. Like I had multiple girls that were convinced I was going to date them. And I just fell into like this loophole of just, despair. Because all I craved was that validation. All I wanted was that validation from that girl. And all I really wanted was just, some female encounter in my life. And I struggled with that so bad. I didn't really see it as a problem at the time. I just saw it as, oh, I'm normal. Like, this is a guy. Like, I want to do this. But the truth is, it was slowly killing me inside. Like I said, I was so insecure during this time. You might think I was confident because I was approaching all these girls and talking to these girls. But the truth was, I was only doing so out of a lack of confidence, out of the feeling that I needed some type of validation. I constantly had to be with a girl or had to be watching porn or something like that solely because I didn't get that validation from myself. But the truth is, I couldn't accept that. I couldn't accept that that's the reason I was doing it. I thought that I was hot shit, and I was super like hype on myself. I was so proud of myself. I was like, yeah, I'm getting all these girls, whatever. But the truth is, I was only doing so out of a lack of insecurity, because the hardest thing for me to do at this time was to genuinely just look myself in the mirror and accept that I didn't like myself. That was the hardest thing. See, the lust that I was feeling stemmed from the fact that I didn't really like myself. But the truth is, I was never willing to admit that. I was too insecure to even admit that I didn't like myself. So because of that, I would constantly try to put on this mask. I would put on this mask by hooking up with new girls, by watching pornography, and doing anything I could to distract myself, because the last thing I wanted to do was to look in the mirror and say, holy shit, Brandon, you need to make a change, you need to fix something, and you need to do it now. And I couldn't do that. I couldn't look in that mirror and accept that something was wrong in my life. I had to put on a mask, and this went on for a very long period of time. And eventually, I got into a new relationship, and I had never healed. And eventually, that relationship went downhill, and in part, it was due to my own insecurities. I still had insecurities about myself and still didn't love myself the way that I should, so I was not capable of having a truly healthy relationship. And the truth is with this, right? Why am I telling you this story? Well, because, that's the backbone of why you fall into lust right there. When you fall into lust consistently, it stems off of the fact that you're not the person you want to be. You might not want to admit that. You might have too much of an ego to admit that. And it's a really hard thing to admit. And I'll never try to, get on somebody for that. But the truth is, the reason you feel that way and the reason you fall into lust and pornography over and over and over again is because you're lacking something internally. You don't get that validation from yourself, and you're not able to look at yourself in the mirror and say that you are truly proud of yourself. So what you need to do to, rid this cycle and get out of lust isn't focusing on lust itself. Instead, it's to focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Whenever I fully conquered lust, I haven't hooked up with a girl in God knows how long, right? I haven't, been watching porn in over a year and a half. That's been such a distant part of my life at this point. It'll never happen again. And the reason for that is solely because I stopped focusing on it. I focused on fulfilling my day and centering my day around things that move the needle forward. So for example, my morning now, I wake up at 4:20. You guys who follow my channel know that I wake up at 4:20 every single day. I have this whiteboard every single day where I outline everything I have to do for the day, and I focus on that. I have this journal where I speak about how I'm feeling each and every single day. I journal my thoughts. I use my 444 method, which I've showed you guys on this channel, and I do so every single day. And I go to the gym consistently. I diet healthy. I train hard. I bodybuild. I have 40 clients, so I'm very busy with that. But the truth is, I quit lust, and I got away from lust without even thinking about it. Because if your goal is to quit lust, you're going to fail. If every day you're just like trying to fight this urge to not watch porn, and you're trying to do all this, you're trying to turn away from your old bad habits, you will not heal. Because the truth is, it's not lust that's the issue. The issue isn't lust. The issue is you. The issue is that you are using women and you are using pornography to essentially put on a mask and run away from the fact that you're unable to look in the mirror and say that you don't really like yourself. That's the harsh reality. So what you need to do is focus on that development. You need to get in the best shape of your life. You need to start eating cleaner. You need to, find a purpose in life, find your why, and find something to chase every single day that wakes you up and makes you happy. Because once you have that, and once I found that, I stopped falling into lust without even thinking about it. The reason you fall into this is solely from from insecurity that you have inside yourself. And I know that's, a hard conversation to have with yourself. I know that's not what you wanted to hear in this video, but I'm not here to sugarcoat anything for you. I'm here to tell you the honest truth. And the truth is that you are not developed enough, and that is why you fall into lust. It's a hard battle to conquer. It's an uphill battle to conquer. But in order to fix that, you simply have to show up every single day as the man you want to be. You have to show up as the person you envision yourself being, because right now, deep down, you are not that person. And the first step to becoming that new man is to accept that, hey, I'm not where I want to be. I'm okay with that, but what I'm not okay with is staying here. What I'm not okay with is staying the exact same each and every single day. Because the truth is, change starts with visualization and change starts with belief. Once you start believing that you are that person, once you start acting like that person, carrying yourself like that person, constantly thinking, what would the dream version of me do? That's whenever you'll fully conquer lust. That's when it'll go away. Because the truth is, that lust that you're using as a mask right now is going to eat you up day after day after day after day, and you're never going to progress because it's just an endless loop, a recumbent loop of falling into those bad habits. So my best advice to you, and what I want you to take away from this, is that in order to break lust fully, you have to become the best version of yourself, and you have to recognize that right now you are not that person. And that's okay. It's okay that you're not that person, but it's not okay to stay the same. If you guys want to see more from me, I have so many videos on similar topics to this, talking about breakups, talking about all of the male struggles that I've faced and that I've conquered, and I want to share these all with you guys, as they come up in my life now, and as I get to experience more and more with life and my clients. And I genuinely appreciate all you guys tuning in. I hope this one was helpful, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, boys. Love you.